Another Dooley Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, and welcome into Another Dooley Noted Podcast, presented, of course, as always, by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. And Meldon Law, of course, also sponsors Coach Spurrier when he's on the show once a week. We never know when, Monday or Friday, but he's on today. So it ought to be fun to talk to him about a lot of things, including we're going to go back in history a little bit and talk about some of the older games from the old days. Okay, so Coach Spurrier will be on today, and I think Monday again. We're gonna kind of give you a double dose, but I've said that before, and he's had to go fly off somewhere and get an award. What is that like to just constantly be flying places and going, yeah, well, appreciate you guys giving this to me. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, thank you. I mean, where do you put all those awards? I mean, I know he's put a lot in this restaurant, but at some point you just got to go, you just toss them in the corner. And I'll be honest with you. When I was a sports writer, there's a lot of them that I just tossed in the corner at some point, you know. Now I want them for third place investigative reporting, Division C, you know, stuff like that. But they would give you a plaque anyway. I did want to bring this up, by the way, and I'm going to bring this up to Coach Spurrier as well. On yesterday, that would be Thursday, I made my second eagle on a par 4 in 3 weeks. Before that, I had made one. Now, I'd made a lot of eagles. I made 2 on ones. I'd made a lot of eagles on par 5s where you hit it in 2 and made the putt. But I had made one hole-it-out eagle on a par 4 until 3 weeks ago. I made one on number 3 at Ironwood, and then yesterday on number 16 at Ironwood. And I'm like, the ball went, where is the ball? It's in the hole. It was cool. So I want to, just kind of give myself a little credit for that, It is weird, though, how you go your whole life. Like, I went forever, played golf for, I think, 35 years before I made my first hole in one. But some people never do. My dad never did. And I think that's something I wish I could have. I wish I could have just faked it somehow, so he would have thought he did. He would have been happy. Also, I wanted to mention, when I was playing out there, I got a call or a text, from my good friend Chris Markham, who I love a lot, who's the owner of Meadowbrook Golf Course, which no longer is functional because of numerous reasons. We all know what they are. Every time it rains, it floods. They've had all these days missed to rain because I don't want to get into the technicalities of it. I know that they're having a meeting next week with the Alachua board, whatever board it is. He wants to do something really cool, and I hope that they're going to do it, which is kind of have a top golf kind of experience there. Right where the first tee normally would be and into that. And then you have other holes to play. He wants to keep this thing going. I don't know. But I guess there's a lot of people that don't want it to go. And they don't want to worry. They think they're afraid it's, in my day, we didn't have lit golf. In my day, it got dark, you quit playing golf, that kind of thing. So we'll see what happens there. But I am rooting for him because it's amazing how little golf we have in this town. I mean, or maybe it's not amazing. I mean, the market drives everything, right? This is why NIL deals are what they are. This is why coaches' salaries are what they are. This is why movie stars make what they do. The market drives it. People don't want to play golf here, so there's not many golf courses. There's the country club. There's Hale, or what is it called now? I can't remember what it's called. It's got a new name. I never can remember it. It's got a new name. Foxstone or something. So anyway, but it's Hawkstone, yeah. But it's Hale is what it is. The UF course, which you got to be a alumni to play there, and Ironwood, which is where I play a lot of my golf. Turkey Creek, I understand, is doing really well, and they finally got. And I don't want to go off on a diatribe about golf because most of you don't. If you're living in Spokane, you're going, I don't give a crap about Gainesville golf, okay? But I hope Chris Markham gets this done. I hope that Meadowbrook does not go the way of the Dodo, which is what obviously West End did, the place where so many people grew up playing golf, and it's just a disaster out there now. It's embarrassing to the city of Gainesville. All right. Let us go to the hand-lost starting five to start off the show. And again, Coach Spurrier will be in here in just a little bit. Let's start off number one with baseball. And again, it was a weird deal for me because I'm sitting there and we're kind of watching the game. And, of course, Evan got it up on the corner screen, and we were able to watch it. But then as I got in my car to go do the radio show, lightning, and now it's delayed 5.5 hours. So we didn't get to talk about it. Tough loss. I mean, look, what this team did this year, I think it was great. I think what Sully said after the game, where he was proud of coaching this team, and he loved these guys, and they weren't going to win anything special. Okay, we know that they weren't good enough, and they've got to get better. But certainly with what they have coming back, and then of course we see Craig Bell and Sully part ways. It was kind of, to me, like a divorce. Whether it was amicable or not, I don't know. In fact, I know it wasn't. They had problems. I've heard this from multiple people, believe me, that they had problems. And, 15 years is a long time to be an assistant coach somewhere. I think it's one of those things where when you get together, and again, they knew each other, I think, from the Cape Cod League maybe, or at another stop. Anyway, I'm not sure. But when you get together with an assistant coach, you kind of have this joint. You want to have the same philosophy, but there's always divisions, and it kind of goes like this, and then all of a sudden, sometimes it goes like this, and that's what happened there, where they just got totally divided. So we'll see what Florida does in that, and huge what Florida does in the transfer portal in baseball. I think I mentioned us on the show before. Sully told me about when they were going through their real struggles, that he'd kind of blown it on the transfer portal, that he had, didn't realize what a big deal it could be, and he was still, he was going to be a guy who recruits, builds a team with recruiting. Well, you got to do both, and Saban is a perfect example of that, and actually a lot of the best coaches are examples, where you still recruit at a very high level, but you bring in these guys, and you can pick and choose when you're good. About the guys. There's a bunch of guys in the transfer portal in baseball. We'll see what he's able to do there. All right. Number two, I did want to talk about the LIV tour, which started yesterday or this morning. I don't know what time it is over there in London. But anyway, it has certainly grown in momentum. And I've been reading a lot about it. And I do take Justin Thomas's approach. And I'll ask Coach about this. Look, if that's the decision you make, I don't like your decision, but doesn't mean I don't like you. I think, and he made a great point. It was a point that I wish everybody in America could hear, is that that's the problem we're dealing with right now. If I don't agree with you, you're a bad person. If you don't agree with me, you're a bad person for that too. Okay, I don't agree with, so that's what he's saying. I don't agree with Dustin Johnson going to this LIV tour, but I still like him. I'll still play golf with him. I'm still going to be friends with him. I've seen so many families torn apart by what's going on in this country. I thought that was really interesting. And, there's a lot of stuff going on. Majors are interesting now because they're almost more important, because now it's going to be, hey, I haven't seen Dustin Johnson play golf, because it's on it's on the YouTube. It's like me. They're like, this league is like me. It's on YouTube and on Facebook Live. So they're no better than me. So we'll see what happens there. But it's interesting to see as it's been going on. But the majors are even a little more. I noticed Sam Horsfield was in the field for this one, so he's joined there. And again, that's something I expect guys like Sam, who's a really good player. He's on the European tour, but hey, you're going to give me this much money. I saw where the U.S. amateur champion has joined him. Sure, you should. That's great. I get no problem with it. And that's the kind of the philosophy I'm. I don't care about watching it. It's still exhibition golf in my mind, but it is what you want to do. Number three, big recruiting weekend and week. I know a lot of people were up here at Visors the other day, and The big guy they've got in, Jaden Rashada, who is a quarterback. And that he's a quarterback that if they go, Arch Manning, we're good. You know, I mean, that's how big of a deal it is. We'll see where that goes. And again, it's kind of the same thing over and over, and I'm waiting. And we all are expecting this big payoff, but the bottom line is everybody's coming here to visit. Everybody's talking about how great it is. Got to sign on the dotted line and then stay. Not everybody stays anymore. That's just not the way it works. So we'll see what happens with that. Oh, I did want to mention this. Somebody asked me about the USFL and how it was similar to this new LIV tour. And I said, well, it's similar because I was a big part of the old USFL. Not the new USFL's junk. It's terrible. But the old USFL was great. Had great teams, great fun, you know. A lot of money in it, but that's what they did. They went and paid Herschel more than, and they said, we're going to draft you as a junior. And I don't care. We don't care. We're not bound by those rules. So they're similar in a way, but the USFL was not built on a sustainable issue. I don't know whether this LIV is or not. I did want to make that point. Okay, number 4, congrats to Oklahoma, who's trying to win every national championship this year, winning it in softball. We all knew going in they were going to win it. We all knew coming out they had won it. UCLA beat them that one game, and it just ticked them off, and they just started beating the crap out of everybody. It's an unbelievable program. 4 of the last 7. Patty Gasso, give her credit. She's probably the best coach of all time. But you know why she's the best coach? Same way Nick Saban is the best coach. Same way John Wooden was the best coach. You get the best players. You get the best players, and then you're a good coach that can mold them, and that's what she's done. And then finally, on hand law starting 5, and which I will obviously be telling you about hand law in just a minute. And we appreciate their move over to this, and I think I've got a bite on 3 things. Well, we'll find out about that. The All Sports Awards came out for the SEC, which the Gainesville Sun is still kind of I think it's called the Gannett or USA Today, but they brought it out. This is something I was a big part of for a long time, and I'm glad they're keeping it going. Tennessee, first ever All Sports Award for the SEC, which, I mean, that says something. It says something that they never won one. It was Florida's for a long time, and now they've gone a long time without winning one. And, you know, got to get some stuff straightened out. I mean, when soccer is doing what they've done and you're not getting some of the points of some of the other sports you're used to getting. But the good news was that the women did win the All Sports Award for the SEC, and good for them. By the way, if you're wondering who finished last in the All Sports Award, it was Missouri. So that's the worst program in the SEC. There you have it. All right, so we will get to Coach Spurrier in just a minute. We appreciate Hand Law for being the sponsor of the Starting 5. And, of course, we always appreciate Chris Hand. We're going to have him on the air pretty soon to just talk some NIL stuff. And I'll talk about that a little bit more, NIL stuff. But I need the reader. I need to tell you this ahead of time, probably, don't I? Not in the middle of my thing. All right, Hand Law, of course, is a Florida law firm which helps clients with government. You can learn more about Hand Law by visiting its website at www.hand.law. The firm is available for consultation in Jacksonville. Evan put together that great graphic for you, too, yeah. So hopefully that works. Did you put that up? There it is. Hand Law, Fearsome Fivesome, but that's not what it's called. And I just approved it, and I had the wrong one up there. It's supposed to be the Starting 5. Yeah. Well, Evan, have you been doing drugs today? How about yesterday? All right, we'll get it. We're trying to get everything organized, and we will. Coach Spurrier will join us in just a minute. We'll be back with more of Another Dooley Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Another Duly Noted podcast comes to you from the Coaches Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer to go. What gave you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. to go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life. And the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
Okay, welcome back to Another Duly Noted Podcast, of course, presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Meldon Law. We appreciate them for sponsoring Coach Spurrier's segments. And Monday you were in Memphis, so you couldn't be here. So we got you on Friday. We're versatile. We can handle it either way. What were you doing in Memphis Monday?
The St. Jude's Hospital and the Liberty Bowl, AutoZone Liberty Bowl, they give an award called the Distinguished Citizen of the Year. And
Really?
I didn't know a lot about it, but I know Bear Bryant won it, Bobby Bowden, Archie Manning, Peyton Manning, Elvis Presley. Several women have won it.
So you got the same award that Elvis Presley got.
I got the same one he got, and a pastor won it one year. And they give it to, someone that's, I guess, a distinguished citizen. They called me up and said they want to give it to me this year. So I flew up there and took a whole bunch of pictures with them and made a little talk. And they gave me a nice little trophy that I'll put in the restaurant here.
I was going to say, what do you do with all these plaques and trophies? I mean, I know you put a lot of them in here, but...
Well, I got a place at the house and a place in my office and so forth. But anyway, it was really a nice award. It was. I didn't realize how nice it was till I got there. But anyway, it was a nice function, and then I flew back. They had it Sunday night. They had maybe 500-600 people at it.
Really?
And they did an auction. It was a fundraiser for St. Jude. As we all know, St. Jude's one of the best charities in the world and what they do. So anyway, but I thought it'd be neat, Pat, to sort of review all the Gator teams this year.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because it's all over except for outdoor track. And we got a shot to beat Texas,
got
hopefully.
A chance,
does it end up Tuesday?
Saturday.
Or
it ends up Saturday.
It goes all this week. Oh, okay. I didn't know how long it went on, but that's what we got left. But so anyway, the teams that won the SEC or won their conference, like women's lacrosse, I say they had a great year.
Yeah.
And those coaches had a great year. And I think these are the teams. Obviously, our women's lacrosse won the American Athletic Conference.
Right.
And so they won their conference. They didn't go too far in the playoffs, I don't think. But our men's and women's swimming team, they won the SEC for the 10th or 11th straight year, I think. So Coach Nesty does a fantastic job there. Men's tennis. Brian Shelton and his guys, they won everything except the national. Went to the final game there, and of course, Ben won the individual. But we won the SEC, went undefeated in SEC play. I don't know if men's tennis team has ever gone undefeated.
No, I think it was the first one, yeah.
So that is heroic. That is a great year for those guys. Gymnastics, our ladies came within a 10th point of winning everything. They won the SEC, a bunch of the regionals, and lost to Oklahoma right at the end there. And let's see, our men and women track, I think, won the indoor.
Women won the indoor
SEC, and I think our women also won the national indoor.
Yep,
I believe
did.
that's our one national championship. So great year for Coach Mouse and our track teams, and they're still battling out for the outdoor that's going on right now. So I think that's it for the SEC champs. Now I also put in there that our women's basketball had a really good year from where we came from. We didn't win the conference, but really exceeded expectations from where we came from. And a lot of the other teams had good years.
Well, like men's and women's golf got to the final.
Oh, I'm sorry. They had a really good year.
Yeah.
They were second place in the conference. Men and women's golf were second place. Had good year, almost great years. And but anyway, I sort of leave the great year for those that won the conference championship, and really good years those that almost did it. Yeah. And then we had some average. We had below average with women's soccer. That's about the only one that I thought. Yeah, that's about the only one that had a below average. Our baseball team, for where we thought we had, I thought it was pretty average the way it ended up.
Sure.
But they fought hard at the end. And our women's softball had a similar year, I think, as our baseball guys.
Yep, they did, and then they did well at the end and got all the way to the College World Series.
But obviously, that Oklahoma women's softball team's got to be the best in history.
Golly.
They are the best in history, everybody says, and I'm sure the rest of the teams will be glad when those ladies are gone.
Yeah, I think Jocelyn Allo is a senior, so thank goodness she's out of here.
And the girl hit all the homers from Hawaii. I read that story about her.
Well, do you see the story was that the another coach she was committed to go somewhere else, and they said she decided not to play catcher anymore, and they go, we're not going to give you a scholarship. I think it was Texas, actually.
No, I don't know, but Oklahoma's had a wonderful year in all sports.
Oh, and, God, it's amazing. Yeah. And that's interesting. I just mentioned this earlier. Tennessee won its first ever all-sports trophy in the SEC, which, it used to be something Florida dominated. It was almost like I don't know if you remember the old days of the America's Cup. Nobody cared about the America's Cup till the USA lost it. And when they lost it, everybody's watching the America's Cup because we want Dennis Conner to get us back. It's kind of like that with the SEC all-sports trophy because Florida won it every year, and they quit doing it. The SEC quit doing it. So we started doing it. We said, we're still going to keep track. And now all of a sudden, I think it's 4 years in a row they haven't won it. So they got to get better at everything. And again, you mentioned soccer. That's not helping with the record they had. Women's basketball was better than normal, but football and men's basketball weren't as good as we thought they would be.
Yeah, we'll give Tennessee credit then if they won the all-sports trophy. Mike White's brother, is the AD at Tennessee now, went from UCF, and he's obviously done a fantastic job there. Give him credit.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you, too, about last football season and how when things start to go, you never had a team that went south on you, totally south on you. No. But obviously that team last year went south. And what did you do to stop if you felt like things were not going the right way?
Well, the only time I had one that sort of went bad was the last year at South Carolina.
Yeah.
A bunch of guys, they didn't listen hardly to anything I said. So I said, well, I'm finished. I can't get their attention. I'm finished. I don't have to watch it. And I didn't. So I left. But no, we never had any teams like that. And the worst team we had finished like 14th or 15th in the nation.
Yeah.
And usually won the bowl game because our goals went all the way through the season. Win the bowl game was one of our goals every year. So the guys hung in there, and we had some setbacks here and there, but win seven SECs in 12 years, and 3 of those years we won the bowl game, the last game that got us in the top 10 also. So our guys were always pretty much in there. I guess 99 was the worst ending. We lost our last 3 games in 99. Alabama in the SEC game,
right.
FSU, they were 1 or 2 in the country. We probably wouldn't have played them.
And you still
And then the
could.
bowl game was lost to Michigan State 37-34. So we
Which
lost
was a
our
great
last
game,
we
yeah.
lost our last 3. I thought I was going to get fired, and everybody said Spurrier's lost it. He ain't got it anymore. And Dan Mullen lost his last 3 and got $1.5 million raise.
Yeah, he
So
did.
times have changed.
Yeah, they
Times are changing.
I remember that FSU game when somebody from the FSU stands threw a lime on the field, and they penalized you guys because they had stopped play or they stopped the clock. That's what it was.
They stopped the clock and then
Yeah.
turned it at the bottom.
Exactly.
And so they threw, I think it was an orange or something, because they were going to the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
And
And you're like,
we were letting the clock. We had no timeouts left.
Yeah.
So it was down to about 5 seconds, and the ref came in there and gave us a penalty or something, and then gave him a new clock to run down again. So I think we lost 30-23 that day, something like that.
yeah, I kind of predicted you guys that we're going to pull the big upset like you had 2 years previous against FSU.
Like
in
we did in 97.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work out that night.
No, I tell you what, that was. I don't know what. I mean, I still think you considered Georgia the biggest rival when you played, when you were coaching.
Biggest conference rival.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bigger than Tennessee, just from history.
Right.
Gosh, we never even played Tennessee regularly
I know,
until they made the divisions. You know, divisions started in 92, although we did play them in 90-91 for some reason. They did get on the schedule.
They did. That's right. Yeah.
Well, just like Alabama was on in 90-91.
That's right.
And historically, we very seldom play them.
Do you care whether the and again, you're not coaching the team now, but you're an ambassador. Do you care whether the SEC goes to the 9-game or the 8-game? I mean, they've talked about the 1-7 model where you have one permanent opponent, but the main thing is they want to make sure that you get to play every team. It's kind of ridiculous that Georgia's never been to Texas A&M, for example. But do you care whether you would play 8 or 9 games?
Oh, I don't know how it's going to be exactly fair. Some years, some teams are really good, and other years they're not. So,
Right.
I just think most of the schools should play the teams they've been playing traditionally. So, and go ahead and play 9. Yeah, play 9. Obviously, keep that one. If they got one big rival game,
Right.
like us in Georgia. Of course, Georgia's got all kind of rivals. They got Auburn. They got us. I think they even
Florida's
they
got
got
a
one
bunch
with Tennessee too. I think.
Florida,
But-
Tennessee, Florida, LSU has become a rivalry.
Well, now Tennessee, they haven't beaten us enough lately to
No,
really
that's a
consider
good
them. they've been dormant.
But that's where LSU has beaten Florida a lot lately.
Yeah, they have. They've
But
come
when you
back.
were
They have
playing,
come back to be a rival.
And when you were
Yeah.
coaching, it wasn't that big a rivalry.
No, it wasn't.
It was still there,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, we had their number for some reason. They beat
And then
us
they beat you the
once.
one year, and they started talking about shiny pants and all that
Oh,
stuff.
they rushed the field when they beat us.
They
They celebrated big time.
I almost got hit by a goalpost that day.
Is that
night.
right?
Yeah, walking on the field to go do interviews,
Yeah.
and goalpost came down and landed right
Yeah,
there.
most of those teams that beat us, they went ahead and rushed the field. They didn't worry about the fines and all that. But anyway, sometimes it happens that way. Even
does.
Mississippi State got us. They beat us twice in my 12 years, and LSU and Georgia only beat us once. So
That's
they
amazing,
were a
yeah.
tougher opponent than those two, for whatever reason.
That is amazing when you think about it. Because the record that you have, I mean, when everybody looks at the numbers and looks at the conference championships, but the number I look at is 11-1 against Georgia. That, to me, was the big one. Because I grew up a Gator fan, and I had been in that stadium so many times when Georgia won. Even '66 I was there for that game. You know, all these other games, 4th and Dumb, you know, in '76, and Lindsey Scott. I was there for Lindsey Scott. So you going 11-1 against Georgia was what mattered to me the most out of all the stuff you did.
Well, looking back, I like just the total of everything. You know, our SEC record was pretty doggone good,
Yeah.
87-14. So, yeah, if you ask me what I was most proud of, it was probably beating all those conference guys.
Right.
Now, FSU beat us more than we beat them.
Yep.
So we struggled against them, but they were in the
They were really good,
top 4
yeah.
in the nation. We played them 14 times. They were in the top 4 in the nation, 13 of those 14.
Right.
So, yeah, scheduling, playing those guys the last game of the year wasn't good for them, wasn't good for us in the long run. If you
Right.
play them early and lose,
Right.
then you can overcome it. In fact, the year we won the national championship, Nebraska lost their opening game of the season. And then they ran the table, and they were undefeated. They only lost the opening game.
Before Texas.
Texas beat them in that conference championship game.
On that
That
bootleg.
knocked them out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or if Texas don't beat them, they were ranked ahead of us. They might have been voted number 1. You don't know what those voters are going to do.
No,
So
I remember.
sometimes, yeah, when they're voting, you got to be fortunate to.
I remember
where it
you at the
bounces.
press conference the morning after the '96 national
Mm-hmm.
championship game, and you wanted to make sure that everybody they'd voted for, because you know.
I didn't want to celebrate.
Yeah, until they
Falsely,
voted for it. Yeah.
Oh, Norm Carlson said right after the game, he said, "Coach, we're national champs." I said, "Have they voted yet?" They hadn't voted that quickly. He said, "No, but I think they are." And I said, "Well, let's wait till they do. We'll just celebrate winning the game right now, and
right.
don't be foolish saying we're the national champs." But yeah, they had not voted yet.
Yeah, because I remember you were like,
Time
is
out,
it
yeah.
voted? I just want to make sure it's been, because that was weird, because we stayed up all night writing stories, and then we went to this press conference and talked. Anton Lott, I think Anton Lott was the first time he had talked since his freshman year, because he had gotten burned in that Tennessee game, and he was not.
Yeah,
He didn't deal with it well, the criticism.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. By the way, I got to bring this up to you because Robbie wants me to, because he said I was an idiot. Okay, so I did this thing on the 12 most underrated players in Florida history, and I put you at number 12. And the reason I put you at number 12, and everybody's like, "Why would you put Steve Spurrier at number 12? He won the Heisman. The stadium's named after him. He's on the Ring of Honor." I go, "Yeah, but when you start making a list of the great Gator quarterbacks, it's usually down the list, and it should be higher up on the list, because the numbers, the numbers you would put up as a quarterback in 64 to 66 aren't what they were from 94 to 96. Do you buy that at all?
Well, that's true that the quarterbacks back in the 50s, 60s,
You're right.
and really 70s and 80s, we just didn't throw too much.
Yeah.
If you threw 15 a game, that was decent. Usually, when I played, we'd throw maybe 22 to 25 or something like that. Some games, if we got behind, now we threw a lot.
Yeah.
So, anyway, there's just the way people played back then was not as much passing as it is later.
Well, who else I had on that list was Larry Rentz, who held the ball on your field goal.
Did he play quarterback a little bit the next year?
The next year,
Yeah.
and he actually put together some good numbers. He had the all-time record for a quarterback running the ball in a game until Tebow broke it.
Is that right?
Yeah, so he was, but nobody thinks about him as being a great player. And I had Doug Johnson on that list too.
Yeah, Dougie had a lot of good games, a lot of good ones. So Jesse Palmer.
Yep.
I tell people, Jesse, that fourth quarter drive against Tennessee in 2000, we went 91 yards with about 1:08 or something like that. And in fact, the Tennessee fans were lined up to rush the field because we'd beaten them. Well, they beat us in 98, but we'd won like 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 8, something like that. And they were ready to rush the field up there. And they all just stood there when we scored. Hit Jabbar. And Jabbar had that little squishy reception that went right through him.
Alwyn Matthews was the official. He
yeah.
played at Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Yeah, if it had replay back then, it would probably been taken away.
Yeah, do you think it would have?
Yeah, I think it'd been taken away. And then we'd had one more down, though.
Yeah,
and then we'd
it
kick
would-
a field goal and go into overtime.
Going
Would have
overtime,
been what would have happened, I guess.
It still bothers them though up there.
That catch or almost catch or whatever.
That happened.
Yeah.
So it was fun doing that list. So, but I know you're not underrated, but I think sometimes people don't think of you as being the great, because people think of you as a great coach. I think that, especially a younger generation.
I tell you something I noticed the other day that was unusual. Our first Florida football player to go in the National Football Hall of Fame. Do you know who it was?
Charlie, no.
No, he played in 1928. He played 27, 28,
Van
and 29.
Sickle?
Dale Van Sickle. And we didn't
He
have...
was a stunt man in
yeah,
Hollywood.
went to Hollywood after that. So 28, we didn't have another one until me in 66. How about that?
Well,
we went from 28 to
Yeah.
almost 68. And so I thought that was unusual.
And I know the reasons you came here. You've talked about them before, but was that any trepidation that I'm going to a place where
No history?
Yeah, no history.
That was one reason I wanted to come.
Yeah.
I made a talk in Memphis the other day, and I sort of always felt this way. Somebody asked Michael Phelps one time, what drove you to be the world record holder in all these swim events, win more gold medals than anybody ever? And he said, well, I hate losing to start with, and I wanted to do things that had never been done before. So why did I come to Florida? And the opportunity I had coming here as a coach, and the opportunity at South Carolina,
Yeah.
oh man, we could do things that never been done before.
But even
especially
as a
as
player,
a coach.
yeah.
Especially as a coach. I mean, we never even won more than 9 games here.
I know.
We had never won 6 conference games.
No.
Now we play a few more now, but you know, never been ranked. Well, national, never won a Sugar Bowl. You know, all down the line, all kind of first we had a chance to achieve. So that, to tell you the truth, I get a kick out of doing things that have never been done before, more than a coach that said, well, I've won another national championship. I've won another one. My school's won 50 of them, and I'll win another one. Doing something for the first time gives me an extra thrill. Maybe a lot of people feel that way, but I do.
How much did it stick with you or stay with you that you couldn't get it done as a player? Because you guys were close, you were right there, but you couldn't get over that hump. Did you just let it go? Did you flush it when you left school here?
Well, you just learn how to coach, and obviously I coach differently than all the coaches before me.
That's right.
Had to, because the players have been here. The players were here, obviously, when I got here in 1990. And that 90 team deserves a big amount of credit because they won the SEC. So next year's team said, hey, last year's team won it. Let's do it ourselves. And then you create a habit there.
Right.
And the guys realize this isn't all that hard. If we put our minds to it, have the right attitude and effort, we can do this thing. So that's how we got going really, really well there between 90 and 96. And then we started losing that one game. The other guys had the same attitude, but we lost that one game that knocked us out most of the time.
All right, last thing for you, Coach. Brad Culpepper, Eric Rett are up, along with Tim Tebow, up for the on the ballot for the College Football Hall of Fame. You're in twice in the College Football Hall of Fame, right? As a coach and a player?
Coach and player.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all three very deserving. They really are. Obviously, I think Tim Tebow is, with his statistics and all, will probably be definitely in. And then Eric Rett and Brad Culpepper, they'll be strongly considered. You know, Eric Rett's the leading rusher in school history, carried the ball more times than any running back in history.
I think he's also leads in receptions.
Running
back.
backs, receptions. He has the all-time record there also. I mean, he's a big reason. Eric Rett, we won 3 out of 4 when he played.
Right.
And the year we won at Duke, won the ACC, this kid Randy Cuthbert rushed for over 1,000 yards.
Yep.
Yeah, so you got to have that guy running the ball. I've always believed in that one guy gets stronger as the game goes. These coaches nowadays,
Eric Rett was that guy. Yeah,
these guys nowadays, well, let's rest this guy.
Damian Pierce
I don't like
never got 10 carries in a game.
I don't mind playing 2 or 3 of them sometimes when they're all very good.
Which you did in 96.
Which we did with Fred Taylor and Terry Jackson.
And Eli Williams.
And then Eli, I said, man, we got too many running backs. Eli went to defense. Yeah, he said, Coach, I want to play.
Played in the NFL doing that.
If it would have been transfer portal, he had transferred probably somewhere. But he wanted to play and help the team, and now he's head coach down in Orlando.
Yeah,
one of the high schools there. So, Fred Taylor, I think, carried the ball 41 or 43 against Penn State.
42,
Penn State.
And the bowl game.
Yep. And Eric Rett had, I think, 43 carries against Georgia the rainy day.
He was a man that day.
Yeah.
I kept saying, Eric Rett is a man.
Oh, he loved it. He loved that fourth quarter. He'd be in the huddle, they said, and we put the 2 tight ends in and 2 wide receivers. That was a formation we sort of ran the clock out with. And he said, man, I love watching those 2 tight ends come in, Coach. I knew I was going to get the ball. That's what he said. I knew I was going to get the ball now.
That's great. That's great. Always great stuff with Coach Spurrier. We love having him on. We'll hopefully have you back Monday. We don't know what.
Yeah,
what
I'll be back Monday. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
be back Monday. Hopefully, we'll be celebrating the outdoor track championship.
there you go.
They say it's us or Texas, and Texas is a little bit favored, I heard, but a lot can happen.
Well, as we go through the summer, we'll try to pick out a specific team to talk about, a specific Florida team. We may do like 99 next year. Just talk about all the players on that team and guys you liked. So we'll be back with more of Another Dooley Noted Podcast right after this break. Again, the Coach Spurrier segments are brought to you by Meldon Law, and we are in the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Steve Spurrier's Grill.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Another Dooley Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What gave me the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life. And the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
All right. Had to change shirts, so hair's probably a mess. Hey, so I was trying to brag to Coach Spurrier about making an Eagle 2 yesterday at Ironwood, and we started talking about holing out shots, and I said, how many hole ones do you have? I have 2, by the way. And he goes, I've got 6. I'm like, why is everything you have better than mine? You're a great coach. You call better plays. You're more interesting. It's amazing. He's living the dream, isn't he? He's got a restaurant. He's on the Ring of Honor. He's got everything I want in my life. I want this to be Pat Dooley Stadium. I'm going to go on record and say that's not going to happen unless I discover the cure for something or something. All right, we got a lot of things to get to, and we will get to them right now. Starting off with three things, and again, three things. I've got an idea for a sponsorship, and I may talk to somebody, but we'll see. But it's out there if you want to get into three things. Of course, Hand Law has been the sponsor of three things. They have moved over to the starting five, and we love that. We love them being part of that. And but three things is available. Number one. Coach Spurrier and I were talking about this before he came on about Lloyd Carr's grandson committing to Notre Dame, and now Lloyd Carr is wearing a Notre Dame hat, and videos and stuff. And I'm like, don't forget, it's about the laundry. Unless you went to the school, unless you went to a college and you've been a fan and you're not going to let it go, it's still about the laundry. If you're Lloyd Carr and you ended up leaving Michigan under less than ideal circumstances, you just weren't getting it done. You had to leave, and you beat Florida in your last game. But where your kid goes to school or your grandson goes to school is the least of your concerns. You wanted to make the right choice. But it's a good get. This is a 5-star quarterback. Good get for Notre Dame. So certainly they're doing a great job over there. Number two on three things. I started to watch a super regional game today just because it was on. I was flipping around right before I came in, and I looked at it, and I went, I just don't care anymore. I'm done. The Gators are done. I like if I am flipping around TV and I see Tennessee's losing, I might stay with it. Other than that, because I will buy a shirt based if Tennessee loses. Other than that, though, it's just hard for me to get into it. But I will say this. We're sitting here we talked about Oklahoma earlier in softball and what a year they're having. I mean, winning the gymnastics national title. They won the men's golf national title. They're having an incredible year. But the bottom line is when you get Oklahoma is kind of what's wrong with softball and what's right with it, and that it's won 4 of the last 7 national championships, and you kind of go, well, that's not the kind of parity we want to see. But in baseball, you do have that. Where you have teams. East Carolina's hosting a regional. Georgia Southern hosted a regional. You have some of that, but in softball, you don't have it, and you're kind of like, I don't even know why I want to watch it. I didn't watch hardly any of softball once Florida got eliminated. Baseball, same way. Florida's eliminated. I want to watch. Now, tonight, my wife and daughter are out of town. They're down to see my other daughter's husband's movie that is premiering for a film festival. It's called On the Brink, ... Make sure you watch it if you get a chance. Everything I've been told is good. I was supposed to go, but I decided I was going to stay here, do the podcast, do the radio show, take care of the dog. We kind of came up to it with an agreement on that. But I know that tonight I will probably sit there and go, what's going on in that regional? I don't want to watch. But it will make me watch. There is basketball, though, too. All right, so that's number two. Number three, I wanted to talk about Marcus Castro Walker. I can only say so much because Marcus Castro Walker is the head of player development and NIL at Florida. He is the most important hire Florida probably made, that Billy Napier probably made. Because he was laying it out for the Gainesville Quarterback Club. And I can't say too much because what happens at the club stays in the club, but I know that there are a lot of things he wouldn't mind me talking about, and a lot of them have to do with where Florida's got to get financially with NIL. It's just the fact. It's not like, well, I'm not giving money to NIL because I don't believe in that. You know what you're not going to believe in? 6-6 record. That's what you're believing in. It's unfortunate. I don't like it any more than anybody else does. It's kind of one of those get off my lawn things, but it's the way it is. And so I even sat there while he was talking. He's a very impressive young man. Great guy. His daughter's getting ready to go to Stanford. I mean, he's really smart dude. And I was sitting there listening to him, and I was like, how much can I give Florida? And I'm like, I don't know if I feel comfortable doing that. Going, well, I'm going to criticize your coaching, but here's $1,000. Can you, for your NIL and for your Gators Collective? I don't know that I'm ready to go that far into the new fandom that I'm living in. But anyway, it was fascinating. If you ask me any questions, I will answer them based on what he said, but I can't really kind of just tell you what he said because that's not the way it works at the Quarterback Club. But this is an example of what the Quarterback Club does. Hopefully we're going to get them on as a sponsor again in the fall. The Gainesville Quarterback Club, the speakers they have are unbelievable. We've had Katie Turner, Billy Napier, and Marcus so far, and every one of them you just went, okay, now I think I get it. I think I understand it. I sounded like it was Cats there. Not Cats, Chorus Line. I think I get it. I think I get it. No, not Chorus Line. What was that movie? It was a Chorus Line, yeah. All right, so that's it for three things. And this is not a good advertisement for you wanting to sponsor it because me singing show tunes is not going to work. All right, so that is three things. And again, we're looking for a sponsor. You want to come on board? I got a great deal for you. It's unbelievable. Let us go now to the Hesser and Kipke games of the weekend. Of course, we all know Hesser and Kipke, who have done a great job in bringing you the Power 5 and the bottom 5 or bottom 3 as well. We'll continue doing that all through baseball season. But look, we all want to know what to watch, and if you want to know what to watch, it's brought to you by Hesser and Kipke. Hesser and Kipke is a law firm based in Hale Plantation, specializing in employment, workers' comp, and family law. Visit their website at let's start that over again. Visit their website at www.hklawfl.com. That's not hard. hklawfl.com, or call Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920. All right, here's what we got. Now it's slim-ish, but it's not that bad. I mean, obviously there's no softball to watch. Baseball, you're on your own. I'm not even going to try to tell you when the baseball game. We know they're going on right now. They're going to go on all night. They're going to go on all day Saturday. They're going to go on all day Sunday. They could even go into Monday. There's no point in giving you times because who knows? They change all the time because of rain and all that stuff. But that's going on in baseball, and obviously it's going to be exciting. Track is today and tomorrow, and then it's over. I've seen it on ESPN2 so far, but you're just going to have to kind of hit that on hit-or-miss basis as well. NBA, tonight is the game 4, okay? 9 o'clock tonight, and then Monday at 9 o'clock. So it's weird. Their schedule's weird, but it is what it is. And that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Of course, the Celtics now up 2-1. The Lightning are up 3-2 on the Rangers, and they play in the NHL playoffs Saturday at 8. If they need a championship game, it's Tuesday. Who plays on a Tuesday for your championship at 8 o'clock? That's an if necessary game. Also, some Major League Baseball. Saturday, you got Oakland at Cleveland on FS1. That's the early game, and then the Cubs and Yankees are playing at 7:15 on Fox. So you got a lot of things there to watch. The Canadian Open, which I'm looking forward to, is a great field, and it's getting totally overshadowed by all this LIV stuff, which kind of bugs me. But anyway, it is. It's on the Golf Channel from 3 to 6 today, and then Saturday 1 to 3 on the Golf Channel and 3 to 6 on CBS. Same deal for Sunday, 1 to 3 on the Golf Channel, 3 to 6 on CBS. So we'll see what happens there, but interested in watching how all that goes. And if you want to watch the LIV series, it's streaming, just like me. No better than me. But personally, I don't care about watching it. All right, so that is our Hesser and Kipke games of the weekend. And I know that games are going to kind of, I don't want to say they're going to dry up. It's going to be different because obviously no Gators are going to be involved, but we'll still give you games of the weekend. And, of course, we're not that far away from football season. When we get there, that is just going to be unbelievable. Let us go to the Leonardo's and Millhopper Quick Picks, and I will tell you we had I think it might even be a record, 11 qualifiers because you guys all picked the Celtics. Not all of you. A couple of you picked Golden State, and that was good. Good for you. So we got a lot more qualifiers in, so we're not – the more qualifiers we get in, the quicker we're going to do our drawing. But I will give you the Leonardo's and Millhopper Quick Picks and I'm going to do it because I know when I do it, like there's a game tonight, but if I do it for tonight, a lot of you will say, well, I didn't get in time. I didn't listen to the show because I know most of you listen to it, or not a lot of you listen to it on your own time, basically. So the game would be over. So I'm giving you the Monday game. The Monday game, which will be game 5, Boston at Golden State. You got to pick a winner there. That's what I'm doing. So you have plenty of time to get that pick in. And hopefully we can continue to add to the qualifiers. So that'll be cool. So that is our Leonardo's at Millhopper Quick Picks. Let us get to our Gator of the Week, brought to you by Adams Rib Co. to Go, the place to go if you want ribs or barbecue, man. There is nothing better. Just go there. Within 5 minutes, you're walking out the door, and you're the hero when you get home. You come home and you go, look what I got. Or here's what I'd like to do. Go home with all that food and then put it on dishes and make it look like you cooked it. Hey, honey, I didn't have anything to do. Thought I'd smoke some barbecue. And we all know how great Adams Rib Co. is. All Adams Rib Co. to go. All Adams Rib Co. is great. Adams Rib Co. to go is the best. I go there all the time. All right, our Gator of the Week is Jasmine Moore. And Jasmine's already earned points at the NCAA meet this week by winning the long jump. This is an incredible story. She was a long jump NCAA champ just yesterday. If she wins the triple jump, which is on Saturday, she'll have won all 8 jumping events you could win at the NCAA level. So she would go 8 for 8. That's pretty cool. And it's really valuable in terms of points. So she's won every long jump of any kind, long jump or triple jump, that she's competed in this year. If she's got one more to go on Saturday, and if she does that, that's reason right there to tune in and see how she does. So Jasmine Moore, I know that having all those NCAA championships is great, but being the Adams Rib Co. to Go Gator of the Week is really the feather in your cap. All right, finally, before we get out of here, let us get to this, that, and the other. Brought to you, as always, by Darth Shakow Insurance, by Ballyhoo Grill, and that's where I'm going tonight, actually. Have a couple of cocktails with my friends, Robbie and Chris, and also by Ironwood Golf Course, where they punch the greens, and I'm telling you, they're going to come in good. I feel really good about it, where they're going, the direction they're going. I know I brought up the Meadowbrook thing before. Look, I just want great golf courses in this town. We are not a great golf community, and maybe that's just the way it is. It's just not a good golf community. But I think we can still be a great golf community. Anyway, time for this, that, and the other. Remember when the SEC announced they were bringing in Texas and Oklahoma? Man, we were like, wow. So 2025 is the earliest they can come, but can't they come earlier? Wouldn't that be great if they come? Okay, so that's this. That is, we're not going to be able to do that. Now everybody's freaking out about the playoffs and everything, and Oklahoma and Texas, we're going to hold you to it, and they're stuck with them. The other is that they announced today that Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston, who had announced that they were going to join the league, are going to join it right away. Not this year, obviously, but next year. They're going to join the league. And BYU is too, of course, coming from an independent. And Oklahoma and Texas have to stay these next 2 years. At least that's where we are right now. That makes a great conference. That 14-team conference is really good. Texas, Oklahoma, the team that was just in the playoffs in Cincinnati. Houston was close to being in the playoffs. UCF just beat Florida. We hate to admit it, but they did. And obviously all the other teams, Baylor and TCU and Texas Tech. I mean, to me, there are 3 great conferences now. There's the SEC's number 1. There's no doubt about it. Big Ten's number 2, and then I would say the Big 12's 3, and the other 2 I don't care about. Pac-12, blah. ACC, yeah, let me know when it's basketball season, all right? So that is this, that, and the other for this day, brought to you by Dark Shackhow Insurance, Ballyhoo Grill, and the Ironwood Golf Course, and that will do it. Great having Coach Spurrier in here. We'll have him in here hopefully Monday, and you never know. He may be given another award. You never know. People call him all the time and just go, we want to give you an award. We want to put you in our Hall of Fame. And he goes and helps raise money for people. What a guy. What a guy. All right, we will be back Monday for sure with a show. Hopefully Coach Spurrier will be here, and if he is, we have a lot of good things we're going to talk about. We're going to try to relive past seasons with him. Maybe we'll talk about the 98 season. That was an interesting one. So we'll do that on the show. We'll be back, though, on Monday. For Evan, who always does a great job as producer, I'm Pat Dooley saying I'm deep, I'm way back, and I am out of here.